Hi all, good evening. Hope my voice is audible.
Yes, Tanvi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Let me share my screen. Hope you all are doing good. Okay, fine. Let me share my screen. Is my screen visible? Crash. Hello.
Sir, we could see only black screen.
Okay, yeah, I think it is getting downloaded.
Okay.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Give me 1 minute.
Hello.
Okay, I am back. Let me share my screen. Just give me a minute. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know once my screen is visible.
Visible, sir.
The
Yeah,
session is
visible.
getting recorded. Okay, fine. And let me check some data from which I can explain this. And I'll be explaining with the assumption that you all know the basics of group by and having, right? Let me take some data. Okay, let me take this example. So here I'm creating this student table. And just a simple data
खोल दो
I have taken. Okay,
खोल दो गरम हो रहा है उसको खोल दो ना
but feel free you
खोल
can
दो
ask.
खोल दो
Please be on mute if you're not speaking. Yeah, it's getting recorded. So I will share the recording on the YouTube. Okay. So what is that? Oh, Okay. So this is student table. Okay. Now, uh, can anyone tell me like why we need having quickly? I know like you all know the answer, but still I'm asking. Can anyone explain this quickly? Why we need having
Sir, to filter.
To filter data
filter
in group by.
to filter
Filter
data
data
in
on
group
group
by?
data.
Okay. Okay. Let me do one thing here. Let me insert one more. But oh, here in this table, if I will tell you that in this table, the name column, if I'm considering, so which record is duplicate?
A.
A is duplicate, right? You all agree with this? Correct? Now, suppose the question is you have to display those records which are duplicate. I have entered A and then physics. What I've written here? 5, no. This is 5. PHY. So if the question is to find the name which is duplicate, so for that, what we will do? We have to find first of all count, right? We all know all this story. But for that, I will write this query. Select name, comma, count of a star from a student. Then we have to create group by name, right? So this will give me the count of each and every name. I think you all know this, right? Okay. But
Yes.
as per the question, we have to find that particular count, that particular name which is duplicate here, right? So what should be the filter condition?
Having
Have
count of
count
star
greater
greater
than
than one.
1.
Having count greater than 1. We cannot use where because like or else let me explain quickly. If I will write where count of a star greater than 1, this will throw error message, right? And the reason is the order of execution. As per the order of execution, first of all, we execute from, then joins, then on, then what was there? Where, then do by, then we have having, have aggregate simultaneously, then we have select, you have distinct, you have ordered by, and then you have limit, right? So first of all, you all know that the SQL engine will take a copy of the student table. So this is your student table, right? Now after from, you will execute which keyword? From keyword, right? Now in the from keyword, you have mentioned that you want to apply filter on count of a star, which is greater than 1. But do you have count of a star greater than 1?
No.
No.
Correct, we have discussed it. So for that, the SQL engine will tell us that first of all, derive count of a star. So for that reason, we will keep this where on a hold and we will jump to group by, correct? Because to find the count, first of all, you have to create the buckets. So that's why group by name, it means you have to create buckets based on the name. So what are the buckets you'll be having? A, B, C, and D. Because you know that group by create unique buckets, you'll be getting these buckets. So far it is clear to everyone? You all know this story,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, good. You all know this. So group by is done, and we have kept this where on hold because so far we have not derived, sorry, we have not derived count of a star. I am keeping this on hold So group by, we have created the buckets now. So this is also done. So after this, like you will segregate the data to find the count of a star, correct? And then within A, means finally you will get the count here as 2, this is 1, this is 1, and this is 1. When you will segregate and then you will aggregate, you will get this count, right? So now you have derived count of a star. This is count of a star. Data is like A, then you have B, then you have C, then you have D. Here it is 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay. So this is name and this is count of the star. But after this, when you will ask engine to apply filters, so this where task is over, it will not apply this. So that's why we have this having keyword, which we will use here to apply filter, right? You all know this story. So that's why now we will use having clause to apply filter on count of a star, because whenever you want to apply filter on the aggregates like count, sum, max, minimum, average, they're derived after group by, and that's why where cannot apply filter and we take the help of having clause. So now when I will execute this query, so you got this output. So tell me, is this query clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? We have already discussed in each and every batch. I have covered this. I'm expecting you all know this, right? So now, after this, coming to the important point on which we are discussing since yesterday, and I really appreciate this discussion. It should happen. Now, next question is, can we use group by without aggregate? Scenario one, group by without aggregate. What is it? How? Tell me.
Yes, sir, we can.
What is the task of group by?
To create buckets.
To create buckets. It is nowhere related to aggregate. You are telling here to create buckets based on the name. Why it will wait for the aggregate? Why it will search for the aggregate? Its task is to create the buckets based on the name. It will create bucket. Has it created buckets, unique buckets?
Yes.
Clear? So this is clear to everyone. Scenario one. It
Yeah.
means you can use group by without aggregate. There is no such rule that group by has to use with aggregates. There is no such rule. I totally agree that 99% of the cases you will see group by along with aggregate. I totally agree with that. But that is not the rule. Hope this is clear to everyone.
Yes.
Scenario one is clear. Okay. Scenario two. Can we use aggregate without group by?
Yes. Yes, sir.
See, I am writing here select count of a start. I will write here some whatever you want. I will write here minimum anything from a student. Or you can take a single column, a single value as well. You can check with count star as well. You can check only with sum of marks. Okay. Now tell me, in this query, have I used aggregate function? Yes.
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 But do you think have I used any group by? I
No.
have not
Yes.
used that. So it means you can use aggregate without group by. That is allowed, right? And it's here. Just a minute. So I think this is also clear. And this is the output. When you have to use group by along with aggregate, that I will explain quickly. Oh, didn't come. This was the okay. Now, suppose you want to find the count for each and every name. So here you have to segregate the data in bucket, no? So that is why we need group by. So whenever you want to use, you want to display something, any aggregate function, either count, sum, max, minimum, average. Okay, based on a particular column, like suppose now I want to find the count based on the columns for each and every record of this name column. So now, of course, you have to create bucket for this, right? So now to create bucket, you have to use group by. So you have to use group by, right? So that's what, when you have to use group by along with aggregate, when you're using some column along with aggregates, then group by has to be used. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the reason is clear, no? Because now you want to
The
segregate data for each and every record of the same column. So
Yes,
to
sir.
segregate, you need buckets, right? So then only group by is required. This point is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, next topic, the one which we are discussing yesterday, and I hope you all have understood so far. Now the question is, can we use having to apply filter on a plain column? Plain column means so far we know that we can use having to apply filter on aggregate, like I have applied filter on count with the help of having. Similarly, you can use having to apply filter on sum, max, minimum, average. I think you all know this, right? We all have discussed all this stuff. Now the question is, I'm thinking that, okay, fine, I can use having to apply filter on aggregate, but can I use having to apply filter on the column name of the student table, right? Is my question clear?
Yes.
So uh, suppose I have to filter those records where marks is less than 15, okay, from a student. And then I will write here having marks less than 15. I'm thinking, I know, like if I will write here where, okay, let's check it. It's working, right? Because we know that we can use, and let me write here marks as well. Okay. So, like all these records have marks less than 15. We know this, that on a column, if you want to apply filter, you can use where. We all know this, right? But the question is, can we use having instead of where here? Correct?
No.
Because we have seen that to filter aggregates, you cannot use where, right? I've shown that was the first example, right? Let me show you again. Here, I have shown you that if I'm using here where clause, so this was not working, and we derived that, oh, we cannot use where to apply filter. It means to apply filter on aggregates, we have to use having only, correct? So now I am thinking that can we use having to apply filter on the plain columns like name or subject or marks? I think that's what the discussion going on since yesterday, right? So I can apply using where it's in front of you. Now I'm thinking, let's try with having. Okay. Oh, it has thrown error message. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me write here group by comma marks. Okay, it's working now. Now listen. This is what I want to explain you. So you have to listen very carefully. The first question is, why this query one? This is the query one. Why this query has failed and it was not giving the output, right? Then the question is query two, why this was working and we got the output. So first of all, let's do analysis on this, that why it has failed, why it has not given me the expected output, right? So in this, which keyword will be executed first? From a student, you all know this, right? So this will be executed first. Okay. Let me take a copy of the student table. So this is your student table, right? Okay. After from, which keyword you will execute? Select or having?
Having.
Having. Having is used to apply filter, right? So here you have written having marks less than 15. Now this is the catch. Having always is used to apply filter on buckets. Okay. You have not created buckets here. So that's why having is searching for the buckets. It will always apply filter based on the values which is present in a buckets. So that's why here you don't have buckets. You have this column only. Okay. So that's why this will fail. Now let me show you this example. Here what is happening when you're executing this query. So you have the same student table, right? Then you have created after this from student, you have created this buckets. Then you have created buckets based on name marks. This one. If you'll create buckets based on the name and marks, what all values you will get? You will get A10, B15. I think all the values are unique. C20, D5, A5. Is this clear? First of all, that group by name comma marks will get this data, this buckets,
Yes.
right? Okay. Now, when you're coming to having marks less than 15 after this, right? So now having will search for the buckets. Have you created buckets here? So yes, this is one bucket, A10, right? This is another bucket, B15, right? And this is another bucket, C20. This is another bucket, B5. And this is another bucket, A5, correct? Now, when you're writing having marks less than 15, first of all, it will check that do you have buckets based on the marks column? Do you have buckets based on the marks here?
Yes.
Yes, these are nothing but the buckets only, no? Now, out of these buckets, it will check which bucket has the value less than 15. So this is less than 15, this is less than 15, this is less than 15. So this value, and this value you have selected, right? Now, let me do one thing. Let me execute this query. Now, this is the output, right? Verify, are you getting the same output? A5, A5, A10, A10, D5. Now, the summary of the story is, yes, you can use having to apply filter on a column name, but you must be having a bucket based on that column. If you don't have a bucket, it will not be able to apply because having always applies filter on buckets. So here you are thinking that this marks is a column. No, this is the mistake actually. This marks is not a column cell. This is actually a buckets. So you are thinking that you are applying filter on this marks. No, engine applies filters on the buckets. This is a bucket marks. This is the buckets. It is applying filter on these buckets. Now, let me show you one more example. Now see here. Let me show you another example. Now, suppose tell me one thing. If I will remove this name, I will remove this name from here as well. Now tell me, do you think this query will work?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it will work.
Yes, it will work. Why? Because having it applies filter on what? Column or bucket?
Bucket.
Bucket.
Bucket. Have you created bucket on the marks?
Yes.
Yes, it is there, right? Now let me run this. Check the output. So less than 15, you have 5 and 10, right? But tell me one thing. Less than 15, listen very carefully, very important concept this is. I am getting this output, right? Now my question is less than 15. This is less than 15, right? This is also less than 15. This is also less than 15. So ideally I should get 3 records. No, why I'm getting 2 records?
Because sir,
Having applies a group by also.
Okay,
having
Sir,
is applied on
group by as
buckets.
a unique
good. You are doing here group by marks. Group by will create unique buckets, no? So based on the marks, what all buckets you have? Please tell me. 10, then
20.
15, then
10, 15, 25.
20, and 5. You will get only 4 buckets. So now when you're applying filter here, this one, this filter, so this filter is getting applied where? Tell me. This is getting applied
On bucket.
on this marks column or on this buckets where?
Buckets.
Okay.
Buckets.
Bucket
So
only.
having applies filter on buckets, and this is the proof that you are getting only 2 values. If it would have applied filter on this column, you would have got 2 values of this 5 here in the output. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Now, do you have any question, anyone? Is this discussion means it's clear to everyone? You understood, no? So
Yes.
net summary is scenario 1, you can use group by without aggregate. Scenario 2, you can use aggregate without group by. But if you want to use aggregate with a column, that column has to be in the group by because you have to create buckets, then segregation will take place, right? Then at the last, having can be used to apply filter on a column, but for you it is a column, but for engine, what is this?
Bucket.
Okay.
Buckets. For engine, it is a bucket. Now tell me if I will write here gender, and here as well if I will write gender, then what will happen?
Gender will be a bucket.
Oh,
In
sorry,
the
marks is there. No, sorry. It is the student name subject. Suppose I will write here subject. Sorry, gender column is not there. I will write here subject. Now tell me, do you think this query will work?
No, sir.
Yes.
Because
No.
marks.
Why?
No, sir.
Why
Because a
not?
bucket is different, sir.
Because
Yeah.
here you are applying filter on this marks. So what engine is assuming it, column or bucket?
Bucket.
Bucket. Have you created bucket on marks?
No.
No. So throw error message. Is this clear?
Yes.
Is this clear now? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then tell me one more scenario. If I will write here group by subject, comma marks, then
No, sir, error.
why?
No,
No.
sir. Without
Because
It
bucket.
won't give an error.
Okay.
It will work.
It will work. Okay.
It will work, but it will only show subject.
I'm not concerned about that. It will work
It,
or not.
it will work.
Don't work.
It will work.
Okay.
no,
Let's
sir,
check
it
it.
will.
See. Now listen. Having you are applying filter on what? Just answer this.
Bucket.
Good. Which bucket?
Marks bucket.
Which bucket?
Marks.
Marks bucket. Have you created bucket based on the marks here? Yes or no?
Yes. Subject marks.
Yes, it's there. I agree it is in collaboration with subject, but my question is, do you have bucket for marks? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, it's there.
Yes.
It will apply filter on that. Okay. But here you are giving subject. That's why it is displaying subject only. If you want to display marks, write here subject over marks because select is used to display. So whatever you will write, it will display here. Are you getting subject and marks both? Hope it is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Any other question? Okay, shall I ask one last question? Okay. Now, do you think this query will work?
No, sir.
No.
Why?
Name isn't in the group by.
Name is not there in the group by? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's check it. It is throwing error message. You remember rule number 1?
Yeah.
All the columns which are in select clause must be present in group by. So in select, you have name which is not present in group by. So this query is getting failed because of that rule 1, not because of this having. Okay. So fine then. Hope you all have understood it. Do you have any question, anyone? No. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, actually, I have one question if you can